Good evening and welcome to the Return Homestead. My name is Mike and my wife Marty and I recently purchased a new homestead in northeastern Kentucky. Y'all, it has been a very tiring, really 2 weeks of getting papers signed, getting everything loaded onto a truck, moved here. There have been lots of problems and complications. Marty and I are going to run through the timeline on it. It's quite a story to tell, and it's going to take us a while to remember exactly what was going on at what times. We've written all of this down. Of course, we have emails and texts to help tell the story. We finally gotten moved onto the property, and now it's time to have a look at what's going on. And the guy is here to make a delivery.
Did he come all the way up the driveway?
No, he just pulled up to the gate, then sat there for a minute, and then he turned around and left. I'll go see if maybe he left a package out here. So we've been having some fun playing with the new address. We managed to find a little section of gravel road that is located in one county but actually managed and taxed by a different county. Post office has one zip code and everybody else for tax purposes and government purposes has a different zip code. Not a very common thing to encounter, but makes for some interesting communications trying to get packages delivered. And sure enough, he did deliver it. He just left it way out here at the gate. That'll be the doorknobs that we've been waiting for. So it looks like this evening here on the Return Homestead, we're going to be installing the new doorknobs. Good time. So that was the doorknobs, and there's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Let's get on back out here to the barn, see what we've got going on with the chickens. And yes, guys, y'all, this barn is certainly questionable. It is old, it is not well put together, but it is still standing. And it has been standing for quite some time, so we're going to go ahead and utilize it while we can. We did get the Silkies all set up in a dog kennel here. So the Silkies have plenty of room out here in this dog kennel, at least temporarily, until we can get them into their permanent home. They're not real happy about all of this. We've been trying to get enough bedding into them to make them comfortable and keep them dry. And they've had a little bit of tragedy. We'll tell you about it here in just a second. And like most old barns, it's got dirty, dark, dank corners. It just needs somebody to move through them, pick up on any of the old projects that got suspended, and start cleaning some of this stuff out of here. So we'll get this thing back in shape as we move forward. One of the advantages we had on this barn is it already had a chicken coop built into it. So it's a substantially sized coop. The chickens are well contained within it, and it seems to be relatively tight. It looks like over 20 or 30 years of somebody raising chickens out here. They've made some modifications over the years to make sure it stays tight. And it is pretty solid right now. But these poor chickens have had quite a bit of drama. So let me tell you about that.
While the barn was not a primary consideration when we were buying the property, we did note that it had a coop and run already built out in the barn. So that's a substantial coop in there. That's at least 4 times the size of the coop space we just moved out of. And then there's also this massive run built out here. And the run's about twice again as big as the coop. But some issues have happened over the last few years. This looks like somebody may have backed into the run with a trailer or some other farm equipment, but that happened a long time ago, and it's only rotted away since. So there's not much left of this sidewall here on the coop, or at least on the run. All of these posts have rotted out, and there's a big chunk of metal missing from the roof. We'll have to fix that roof line. More concerned about falcons and other eagles getting in than I would be concerned about water at this point. This wood is pretty well shot back here. And short of replacing all of the lumber out here, including trying to replace all of the stickers for the roof, we're just going to have to make repairs as best we can. There's also some metal missing along the side here. I don't think any birds of prey are going to be able to get in that way. And let me tell you about the really sad thing that happened while we were trying to get moved in. So we brought 5 chickens with us. Grandma, Marsha, several other of our prized chickens. We just grabbed 5 of them, threw them in a box, and brought them back with us one night. And we turned them loose here in this coop and run. We thought they would be secure. This was all covered with weeds at the time. We couldn't really investigate the outside of the run to make sure everything was tight. It appeared tight, so we put the chickens out there assuming we'd have time to tighten up any weak spots that the chickens revealed, especially with Grandma. She's really good at escaping, so we threw her in there and we figured everything would be fine. And they survived the night, and we went back to collect some more chickens. And when we got back with the new chickens, what we found were 5 dead chickens here in this run. So the run wasn't secure. It turned out that when we went to investigate what happened to the chickens, we find the neighbor's dog in our field chewing on bits and pieces of what's left of our chickens. So we know that the run is not secure at that point. We also know the neighbor's dogs are an issue. The door seems solid. It's really just this front wall. So the side walls are fairly well secured. I'm going to have to replace these posts and most of that front wall, it looks like. There's about 18 inches of sheet metal down here. That's going to be excellent for providing a good border around the base here. And then it looks like there was a ledger board that was supporting these posts, and the ledger board's gone. The bottom of the posts is gone. All this is going to have to be replaced. Just got to put some new wood in here. Probably end up clipping off all those screws just so we can attach a new board. And then there's this big hole up here in the roof line. That's going to have to be dealt with. I got to find some way to at least cover that. I don't want eagles coming in. And we had one other incident where one of the dogs got into the barn and one of the Silkies stuck his head outside of the kennel and the dog took the head off. So we've actually lost 6 chickens now to the neighbor's dogs. That is no joke. Something to pay attention to when you move.
So that's the sad tale of the 6 chickens that we lost when we were getting moved on to the new Return Homestead. Those chickens were lost to animals that should have been well controlled. If you're going to move into an agricultural community, make sure your animals have been socialized properly for that community. If they have not, don't let them out of your sight. There is just no excuse for allowing your dogs to run loose in a neighborhood where they do damage to other people's livestock. But no worries, we'll go ahead and tighten everything up here. We haven't had a chance to make our chickens secure. Once they're completely secure, then I'll worry about making sure that everybody stays away. We've got to get that run opened up to the big hens, though. They really need to be outside where they can get some sunshine. They're getting plenty of fresh air as far as ventilation is concerned, but I want to get them out more in the open. So we're going to get that run repaired. We're going to repair that front wall, make sure we've got a covering there over that hole in the roof. And we're going to get those guys out there. We'll get busy working on that tomorrow. We do appreciate you joining us here on the Return Homestead today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please take a moment to do that. And while you have that window open, if you wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up icon. That's going to let the algorithm know you enjoyed the video and they'll share it out with more people. And we'll see you next time.